I realized how simple it really is. And sometimes we want to make things complicated. And what I'm just letting you know that if you keep this business simple, it will be simple. Because as I do these presentations and these demos more and more and more, I realize it's really kind of really ridiculous. You don't have to go through that much. The simpler you keep it, the better it's going to be. The more you talk about, the more confusing it gets for people. So just to understand that. If you think about Zoom, let's just think about Zoom itself, because that's our big, anti-competitor. Not really a competitor, but but anyway, that's the big elephant in the room, right? Zoom. So if you really think about it, when Zoom presents, what do? They say you should go join Zoom. And then people go there, they look at the price, they say, okay, and they sign up. And then there's a million buttons in there and links and stuff and all kinds of stuff, right? How often do they do a demo? No,
Never.
They just go by Zoom.
Yeah.
They just say, hey, go by Zoom. And Zoom is like a verb now. Go Zoom it, right? Go buy a Zoom. You need to get Zoom. It's just the way it is. So what they've done, but it didn't start that way. Before, it used to be a screen sharing platform. When it first started, it was a screen sharing platform to help you go collaborate and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, Zoom just became a name, kind of like Pitch. And here's the coolest part about Pitch versus Zoom. Zoom means nothing other than a fast car driving down the street, right? What does Pitch mean? Making a presentation, which everyone's already branded with the name Pitch. The whole world is branded with the name Pitch already. It's already done. So what does that mean? All you have to do is to start capitalizing on that. Do you want to make a pitch better? Yeah, well, here's the system. It's real simple. Keep it simple. Don't try to over-explain everything. So that's the first thing. Keeping it simple is one thing that makes the difference. So now when you do your demo, I would, you guys all have my demo sheet. If you haven't got my demo sheet, text me. I have what's called a fact sheet that shows the difference between this and Zoom. I've been using, not ChatGPT, I've been using a system called Gemini to help me with some of my scripts and stuff like that. Even Gemini recommends my sheet. So it's funny when I go in there and I do a script for something, they go, yeah, here in the script, it says, put the sheet in there. But give them the sheet because the sheet really clarifies the difference between this and other products. So what I would recommend you to do, if you don't have it, text me and I'll send it to you. It's just a comparison between Zoom and Pitch. So you can clearly see the difference in benefits. So text me by phone. You guys all have my phone number. Just text me and I'll send that over to you. Okay. I'll send you the generic one for Pitch. That's one thing. The next thing is when you go to present this, you want to keep it simple. Short is better than long. So like now my presentations, because other people on there, I do have to do it a little bit longer because I'm presenting for a group. But so there's several things that you want to learn to do. One of them is you want to learn to show the plan. Write that down. Show the plan. You're going to start hearing this verbiage because doing a demo is one thing, but showing the plan is different. Because people want the plan. They want a strategy. Because in my normal coaching, I do what's called a strategy session. I give away strategy sessions, and I teach people don't go do consultations. Don't go do all these other words that people use in coaching. I said, give away free strategy sessions. That's what I do. So when I go networking, I just go give away free strategy sessions. So now in this particular business, I go show the plan. Let me show the plan. Now, what do people want? They want a plan for success. They want a plan to be able to get out of their financial situation. They want a plan. A demo means you're going to sell something. You're demonstrating a product to sell, right? That's what that is. Now, do we do demos? Yes. But when I'm speaking to someone, I'm going to say, yeah, if you're open to it, I can just show you the plan and show you how it works. Oh, yeah, I'm open to take a look at the plan. Sure, I want to see it. Versus a demo means I'm demoing something so they can buy. Words matter. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
So are you going to use that for customers and people that might want to build a business?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Are you going to say that to a customer?
Yes, if I'm talking to a person, and remember, we're talking one-on-one right now. If I'm talking one-to-one to someone and I say, yeah, hey, yeah, I can show you the plan. I can show you how it works. And they say, yeah, I would love to see how it works. Great. Instead of me giving them a strategy session, I'm going to show the plan. I'm going to show them how it works. I'm going to show them the plan. And show them how it can help them solve their problem. Like Steve just talked about, we solve problems. So I'm going to show you the plan, and I'll show you how it can solve your problem of conversion. I can show you how it can help you generate more leads. I can show you how it can be, you see, versus just a demo. Big difference. A demo is demonstrating something with the intent to sell. Showing the plan is showing them a solution to their problem. Big difference. One of the things I teach are the words that convert. And these are words that convert. I've been trying different ones out, and I've noticed demo, people will come for a demo, but they come a little hesitant, like, okay, he's going to sell me something. I don't know if I want it. Where if I'm going to show them the plan of how to solve their problem, they come with an open mind. Just like when I do one-on-one coaching. When I do one-on-one coaching, people come to sit with me for an hour for a free 1 hour strategy session. But if I said I'm going to do a presentation, I can't make that. They'll reschedule and all kinds of stuff. Words matter. We're in the business of words. So you'll be learning that from me as we go. Okay. So you want to now show the plan. No, here's a little thing that you can look at. Your income is going to be in direct proportion to how often you show the plan. Write that down. Your income is going to be in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. So what you want to do is you want to set a goal. I want to show the plan 5 times a week. That's 1 a day. Not that much. And then I'm going to show you methods of showing the plan in a moment. You want to set a goal. Well, and it's all based on your income. Because your income is in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. Because the more times you show the plan, the more people can join the business. They can join the business as a customer, which can duplicate the 3, which I'm putting systems in place for you guys, just so you know, for all of us. Because anybody on my team is on my team. I'm putting systems in place to help your customers get their 3. I'll explain that in a minute. Let me make a note so I don't forget. Okay, 3 customers. Got it. So I'm putting systems in place right now to help your 3 get their 3. That's what I'm doing. I'm already setting it up. Yes, go ahead, Mike.
So you say words make a difference. And I've heard you do this in demos as well. But join the business instead of joining pitch is 2 different phrases.
I agree. What's your question?
Shouldn't it be join pitch?
Well, I don't know. I haven't tested it.
Okay.
So until I test it, I can't tell you which one's better, only because it's kind of like, you know what keyword marketing, like when you look for keyword. See, with keywords and when you do marketing, you test. It's called A/B testing. You test this headline against that headline. You test this color button against that color button. Same thing. So what we got to do, Mike, is we test those types of things. I know the words that convert in certain areas, but I don't know all words that convert. So I don't know, because pitch is a new word, first of all. And, it's a new word when it comes to this software. Everyone knows what a pitch is, but if you really think about it, in sales, I've been branded, and this is what's so ironic about this whole thing. I was trained at 18 years old, never call something a pitch. It's a presentation. That's Tom Hopkins 101, secret to closing a sale. If you go back that far, they branded me for years, never call it a pitch. So I would never say I'm a pitch, because that's what used to be for infomercials, a pitchman. Or, but wait, there's more. That's a pitchman, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you're a used car salesperson, does a pitch. So I never, ever wanted to be acquainted with the word pitch. And then, of course, this business, the name is pitch. So guess what I'm doing? I'm rewriting the meaning of it now. So, everything has meaning, right? And you get to create the meaning, like the word Google. What the heck was a Google a few years ago? When you get a little baby, you Google it, Google, that's a baby, right? But now Google is like a brand name. You go now, you Google it. It's a verb. So we can rewrite the words and what they mean.
Okay.
So I'm rewriting the word pitch. As a matter of, I'm rewriting it. Actually, I have a brand and I own the domain. I own the domain Pitch Perfect. I own that domain, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be teaching people how to pitch perfectly. And how do you do that? You use our system. So all of that type of stuff is being done right now behind the scenes. You guys don't see all that, but I'm doing that right now. Okay. But so the big thing I wanted to say is start inviting them to the business. Now, you got to remember, Mike is correct. You can invite them to join the business, because we have the business and we also have the product. So what you're seeing on that strategy session, Mike, is you're seeing me do 2 different things. One, I'm talking about the product. Because there are people that are going to come in here that don't want to do the business. Right. They don't want to be a part of the business. So the first part of the presentation is very casual. It's very matter of fact. It's very about the product and how it can help them solve their problem. If they're selling insurance, they're selling widgets, they're doing network marketing, or whatever they're doing, the product helps them with their business. So that's the first part. So when you hear me there, you hear me talk about, yes, this product can help you. It can solve this problem. It can do this for you. That's the product. I take that hat off. And that's talking about business, because that's a different product. Our business is a second product. Now, there are people that want to join the business. Now, the product line, Pitch is our product line, but the business is the direct selling of the product. So like my business is called Active Webinars. I created my own brand in this business because they don't franchise, but I created my own franchise. How did I do it? I created my own logo. I created my own identity. I created a whole process behind it. I created a whole training system. I created an entire back office ecosystem. I have a whole follow-up system for all the customers, but that's through Active Webinars. You understand? That's my brand of Sell Pitch. And it actually says Active Webinars powered by Pitch. It actually says that on there. So I invented a franchise without the franchise fee. Teddy knows all about franchise fees. That's what he was doing when he got here. So franchises cost a lot of money. And what do? You buy a product line, you buy a manual, and you get a logo, and you get an attaboy to go get them, make it happen. Well, that's the same thing we get here, right? Only difference, it cost me nothing. That's the difference. And so what I did was I created that brand. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because you can do the same thing. That's how it all depends on your income. You can make it as big as you want. So it depends on what your level of understanding is, and if you need help. If you need help with that, let me know. I don't look at anybody as competition. So if you need help with you create your idea or whatever, I'm an idea guy, so I can help you with that as well. But when you do something like that, that's where you may have to invest a little bit of money. So I did. I had to invest money several ways. One, I pulled back on my coaching, my one-on-one coaching. I still do it. I get 1 to 3 clients a week, but I stopped getting 3 to 5 clients a week, and that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I invested in my business because I have to invest the time here, the mind source, the resources, and everything else in this business. I also hired a marketing manager who helps me with my back end system, because there's stuff I don't know. Matter of fact, most of this stuff I don't know because I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a direct sales guy. So that's been my whole background is direct sales. Marketing is like speaking Chinese to me. I don't even know nothing about it, but I don't need to. I know Google and I know YouTube, and now I know Genesis, and now I know my marketing manager. And guess what? I'm learning marketing like crazy right now. But I didn't know it beforehand. So the same thing with you. What you got to decide is what you want out of this business, and then now you can set up the system to get it. So in other words, if you want to make an extra $1,000 a month, show the plan 5 times a week, one at a time. You'll get $1,000 a month easily. Residual income. I'm almost at that already. It's only been 2 months. You know what I mean? In the residual part. And that's without any marketing or anything yet. So it's just the onesie twosies. You want to make an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, you can do that pretty easily and effortlessly. But if you want to make $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, you got to start looking at it as a business. That's the reason why I call it a business. Business people understand business, and that's what this is. This is a multi-million-dollar business without the price tag. That's right. What it is. So that's the reason I make sure I separate those two. Okay? A pitch is the product line. Just like Motivee was the product line, but it was a business you're joining. So it brings a person in the right way. Okay, so that was the reason why I started that. Now, if down the road Pitch becomes a brand hold name like Zoom did, then we're going to talk about you need to pitch it. You need to get your pitch on, however we're going to say it. Great point though. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so now remember showing the plan. You got to go show the plan. Got to have in the mindset. How many times this week can I show the plan? Because your income is in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan, not how many times the plan is shown in your team. It's how many times you can show your plan, because you got to have some goals. The first goal is to get your 3. If you don't have your 3 by this weekend, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should go get it done. Make it a decision. Get it done. It's not that difficult. And when you show the plan, you go in and learn the software. You can't break it. Well, I mean, can't break it. I mean, you can mess some stuff up, but it won't break. It can be fixed easily. You know what I mean? You can do a bad webinar and mess it up and not hit the buttons right. You can do that. But guess what? So what? That's how you learn, right? That's the whole point. You got to go in and learn this thing. Don't be afraid of it. Jump in and start to learn. Okay, number one, how do I do a screen share? That's the first thing. If you just learn how to screen share the way Zoom does, guess what? You're 90% of the population, because that's what most people use Zoom for. Screen sharing, right? Very few people use all those tools in Zoom. Companies do, but not individuals, which is our market. Our market are not companies. Our market are not big teams. Our market are individuals. That's our initial market. Down the road, it will be the bigger teams and stuff like that. But right now, our goal is the individual people, one-on-one. Okay? That's called a one-to-one. That's our market. So with that said, you got to go in and learn it. You know what you do? Act like you spent $50,000 on the business. If you spent 50 grand on it, how fast would you learn this product? How to present it? You learn it immediately. See, that's our biggest problem, is that it costs too cheap to join. He should charge $50,000 to join this bad boy. And guess what? This thing would take off like crazy. You see, it would, right? Because people that invested, they now are going to learn it. But you got to have that mindset. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I invested 50 grand. That's how much I've lost or I've invested by stop doing my coaching. That's how much I've invested. But I look at it that way. See, it's a mindset. So if you look at this like a business and you invest in your business mindset, whether if it's money or time, then you'll learn it. So you got to have a decision. You know what? I need to learn this product. Number one, I need to learn how to do a basic screen share. That's number one. The next thing is I need to know how to do an interactive screen share on pitch 1 and 2, because I use them both differently. When I'm coaching my one-on-one clients, I use pitch 1. It's easier to use. It's simple. The recording is really good. Doesn't have any bugs. So I use the pitch 1. When I'm doing a meeting like this, I'm starting to use pitch 2. It took me a few days to do it because I had to grow my confidence. You know, we had the bugs and the things that we had to work through. And you know what? I started using it and I said, you know what? I'm just going to be a bug finder. I'm going to be a roach motel. I'm going to be a bug finder, a exterminator, so I can go find the bugs and get them to fix them. Because the faster they find them, the faster they can fix them. So that's why I started using 2. And I would ask you guys, tell me what you're finding. You finding the bugs? I get it to them and I stay on them. Fix this, fix this, fix this until it's fixed. Okay? So that's the mindset. So now I'm using pitch 1 and 2. But still, there's still things that we need to work through, and they're working through them. That's the benefit of being at the beginning. So what you want to do is learn pitch 1 and pitch 2. Get in the habit of doing it. It's your business. Your income is in direct proportion to how much you show the plan. So you got to go learn how to present this. Go learn how to do screen share, how to go learn how to do interactive screen share, and then learn how to do interactive showing another website. Because that's another part of sharing the screen interactively. You got to know how to add a website to it. And then how to take that website off. You need to learn how to do it. It's not hard. It's just you paste and clip. You paste one in there, you clip it, you unpaste it and take it off. It's really simple. But you got to learn how to do it. Because if you haven't done it, then you don't know how to do it. So go do it. And then go see how it navigates. See how it flows. Practice. Mess up a few times. Call your friend and family and practice with them. Go practice with them. Okay, that's another thing you got to do is you know how to do 1-to-1. Then you got to learn to do 1-to-many. In other words, you got to learn how to present this. I'll have a presentation done soon of me doing the presentation that you can use as a demo. We're creating a whole demo deck so you can actually watch some of the things I teach and some of the things I do so that you can actually have that as a demo for yourself, and it'll be readily available for everyone. It's just not done yet. But for now, watch what I do on a meeting and practice it and mimic it. Watch what Steve does. I just watched Steve. I listened to the words Steve said and I mimicked what he said. That's all I did. Learn to mimic. There's a big difference in this industry from duplication to mimicking. Duplication is when you duplicate the process of what they're doing. Mimicking is when you sound like a parrot. You're saying exactly what they say. I learned to do that. I learned to mimic because most people try to duplicate. You see, duplication, I'm not duplicatable. My personality is not duplicatable. Your personality is not duplicatable, but my system is duplicatable. Does that make sense? Systems are what grow businesses. McDonald's could run this company as bad as they are, but they could run it all around the world with 14-year-old kids. Why? Because they have a duplicatable system. It's not based on the leadership. It's not based on the management. You understand? So that's what we're establishing here is a system of duplication, but your personality You can mimic other people. So I can mimic Steve when he says live and interactive, recorded and interactive. You know, you see, I'm using his words because his words work. So that little video that I sent you, that little 7-minute video, it has the whole darn presentation built into it. Just mimic what it says. As a matter of fact, I made it so simple. You know what I do on my presentation? I come out, I put my personality behind it. I say, here's who I am, and this is what I do. But before I get started, let me listen to the owner of the company. He wants to say a few words for you. Boom, I push the play button, and I sit here and eat chips and relax while you guys are watching the video. Chilling. Let Steve do the work. And then I come back and say, okay, let me kind of go a little recap what he just went through. Boom, boom, boom. Recap it. Here's the plan. Let's get started. You can do that. Right? That's all I'm doing. I'm not reinventing the wheel. It's already done. And the presentation he did today is even better. Before we got off the video, I said, send me that video because I need to do a couple things there that I can make that for myself a little bit. He goes, yeah, no problem. I'll send it to you. So his video he did today was even better. I actually wrote that script. He just changed it and made it a little bit better. He made it a little bit more, more generalized for everyone. That's why he said that in the meeting. So, but what I'm going to do is take that and make it even more duplicatable. Because the more I can get you out of the equation, the more times you can show the plan. We got to make it duplicatable. You understand? So one thing, show the plan. Your income is in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. So you got to make a decision. How much do I want to earn? How many times am I going to show the plan? You need to show it at least till you get to 30. Now, why did I say not 20? I didn't say 20, I said 30. Wow, it happens, right? I mean, I've had a couple people quit, but guess what? Most of them are sticky. It's just the way it is. So right now I'm at 24, 25, and 50, a few free, but it doesn't matter. They're upgrading, and I'm getting to 30, and then to 40, then to 50. My goal is to get to that 160 number. I saw that number today. I was like, okay, I need to go to that. So I need to get to 160 in a short period of time because I know the momentum will happen because of it. So you got to set a goal. What is your goal? Now you notice that has nothing to do with you. You guys are all my team, but I don't base my income on you. You guys are bonuses from my perspective. That's how I look at it. If I'm going to build this business, it's going to be because of me. It's not going to be because of you. And this is a mindset I want you to get. This is I'm going to give you a technique right now before I get into the second part of the training. The first thing I want you to understand is 4 core beliefs you must have to be successful in this business, to be a top producer. To be an average producer, you don't need them. You want to be a top producer, there's 4 mindsets, 4 core beliefs. Number 1 is you got to believe that this is the best product and best company in the industry. It's the best product in the industry. Number 1, no doubt, hands down, it's the best. Number 2, you got to believe it's the best company for this particular industry. Now, are we the biggest and strongest? No, but you got to believe that it is, and you got to believe that it will be. Next thing, you got to believe in the leadership, the best leadership. I think Steve's one of the best leaders in this space, and I'm going to tell you why. I've never seen a leader go out and do one-on-ones like that. Never. And I've been in, and Mike, we've been in this industry for a long time. We'll see leaders do a group meeting. If you bring in 10 leaders, they'll do a meeting with 70 people, but they won't do one-on-one with an average person. They'll do one-on-one with a top leader or a top producer, but they won't come do one-on-one. They're not going to give out their personal calendar to everyone in the company. They ain't doing that. That's for sure. You understand? Matter of fact, until you become a top person, you can't even talk to the owner most of the time. Because they stand up. No, these guys are his guys right there. That one thing alone is why I'm following him, is because of his commitment to excellence and commitment to the people. That's a different breed right there. That's very unique. I've been in this industry 36 years, and I have yet to see one person do that. Not one. Okay? So that's another thing. So you got to believe that the leadership is the best. You got to believe that the training system is the best. And I believe that the training system, in my opinion, is going to be the best because I'm running it. I'm starting it. And I don't think there's any trainer in this industry better than me. Now, that's my belief. Right? And is it true? I don't know. I haven't seen all the trainers. But I doubt it very seriously. The trainer that cares more about people, that's willing to put more heart behind it, that's willing to teach people the skills without lying to them and making all this fluff up stuff and really going to work for them. I don't think there's a trainer out there better than me in this space. Now, that's my belief. But the key is what we're talking about is your belief. Your belief is the key. It doesn't have anything to do with facts. See, when your attitude's right, the facts don't count. You understand? So I'm talking about your belief right now. You got to believe that the company's the best, the training's the best, the system's the best. You got to believe that the compensation plan is the best. And I believe in this industry, it's one of the best compensation places in the industry. When I saw this, I just saw the 150 and 75 and the 30%. And I was like, I'm all in with no qualification. And it's unlimited. I was like, that's no brainer. I just saw that. Mike and I, we talked about it. I went down to see him down in Miami area. And when we were talking, he just saw that. Then we saw the rest of the comp plan. We were like, good night. This guy really did give away the farm, didn't he? Made it easy to qualify. If you've been in any network marketing company, you know the hoops you got to jump through. You got to have this leg side, this weight, this over fat over here, and this type of person over here. And you ain't got to do none of that junk here. Get 30. That's it. Let's get 30 at the top of the comp plan. And then you just help those people grow. Let's keep. I mean, this comp plan, there is nothing like this comp plan. And Mike and I we've built some big businesses with big comp plans, lump sums, but no residual. And nowadays, for me, if it don't make residual, it don't make sense. I mean, I make some good money in my coaching. I make a lot of money in my coaching, but I'm willing to give it up to make residual because that's called mailbox money. See, now when I go on vacation, I ain't got to do coaching calls. I can go on vacation and actually have vacation. How's that? When I went to Spain and Italy this year, I went up to Spain, Italy for a month, went on the cruise. But guess what I had to take with me? My laptop, because I had to still do the coaching. Guess what? When I built 1,000 in the next 2 months, 1,000 customers, I can go on vacation now and actually see the actual vacation, the resort spots. It'd be fun. It's a big difference. See, that's what residual can do for you. And that's what this business is all based on, residual income. So you got to have that
residual income is nice.
No, residual income is mandatory, in my opinion. It ain't nice. It ain't optional no more. You know, like I said, if it don't make residual, it don't make sense. You can make streams of money or you can make piles of money. I'm all into the streams of money now, right? Okay, so that's the mindset. So it's a mindset. You got to believe the company's the best, the product's the best. You got to believe that the systems are the best, the system that we have in place is the best. But here's the most important thing you got to believe is the best. You got to believe you're the best. You got to believe when you're talking to that person that you're the best person for them to be in business with. See, if they join with someone else, they're joining with second best. That's the mindset. Now, you never want to say that to them. You don't want to make them feel that way, but you got to believe that you're the best person for them to join with. If anybody joins with any other team, that's okay. It doesn't make a difference to me. I don't mind if they join someone else. I believe I'm the best person in the business that they need to join with. If they don't join with me, then it's not my loss. You understand? That's a mindset that you got to have. So this is very important. You got to believe that you're the best because when you feel that way, people will be attracted to you. See, people will be attracted to you, and that's what this business is all about. You got to believe those things. That's the first core belief. Second core belief, you got to believe that they need the product. Write that down. They need the product. Who is they? The person you're speaking to. See, if you're speaking to someone that does online marketing or some Zoom or something like that, you got to believe they need this product. Well, we know why, because one, we don't need a presentation tool. We need a conversion tool. You need to stop sending emails and chasing people after the fact and doing the follow-up. The fortune is not in the follow-up. Write that down. The fortune is not in the follow-up. We've been live for years. In marketing, the fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune is in the closing and asking for the money. The fortune is getting the yes now. Mike knows that. When we were in that other company, it was a company that had a $20,000 product. And there were 6 and 7 figure income earners in that company before we got there. I mean, the company had been in business 10 years. And when I got to that company, I saw that they had a 5-call close. It was a $20,000 product. And they were like, yeah, you got to meet them 5 times before they buy it. I was like, what? I was like, you must be out your mind. You must be crazy. I said, my kids like to eat every day. I don't know about yours, but I got to make money right now. So what I did is I revamped the system, and I would go meet someone at a networking event, invite them to a presentation, and within 24, they paid me $20,000. And I had the fastest growing team of the company. And I put $1.4 million in my bank account in 14 months in that company. Mike saw me do it, right? From a standing start with no marketing, no emailing system, no funnels, no nothing. One-on-one, one at a time. How did I do it? It's because I revamped the system. I said there is no 5-call close. It's a 1-call close. That's what I've been taught. Right? And so that's the same thing here. But the problem is in this industry, it's been a 5-call close because you do a presentation, you got to chase them around and follow up because we've been taught the fortunes in the follow-up because that's all we've been taught because that's what it's been done. But the fortune ain't in the follow-up. When you go door knocking on someone's door with a vacuum cleaner, is the fortune in the follow up? You got to here. Let me try it out. Let's do the vacuum cleaner meeting 5 days. No, you sell them that day. When someone comes in the car business, you know what we were taught in the car business? There ain't no such thing as a be back. They ain't coming back. If they don't buy today, they ain't buying. That was the mindset. There's no such thing as a be back. So guess what? I had to learn how to get someone to say yes now.
They buy at the next place they stop at.
They buy at they buy when they meet a salesperson. That's when they buy.
That's
they
right.
Buying a car. They're buying a sales rep. It's the same thing here. Now we don't do no hard close. That's different. We're not hard closing. We're just talking about helping a person make a decision to do business now. Because when is a good time to make this to buy something? When you need it, which is now. That's why you're here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't need it. You understand? So we got to learn to do that. That's a process. And we're going to do it without any pressure. But the system that we have allows people to make that decision now. That's what this does. Versus having to send them a link and contact them later and chase them down. And especially when you do a network marketing, I've done some of the killer meetings. I've done these great presentations. Get with the person that invited you. And the next thing you know, how many people sign up? I haven't called them back yet. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's why in that company, I created a follow-up system. You know what I did? I took the matters in my own hand. Mike said it. Mike know it. What I did was I created a follow-up script. Everybody on my team had to learn the same exact follow-up script. And I tested them. If they didn't learn the follow-up script, and it was a huge commission in that company. It was like a 50% commission. So this is what my mindset. I would do a presentation, or I was in the front of the room the majority of the time, but somebody else was doing it. Mike may have done it. Somebody else may have done it. And when we did that presentation, at the end of the meeting, the people had to say the follow-up script. Kind of sounded like this. So what do you like best about what you just saw? And the person would say, well, I really like the way you can make money. You say, great. Well, I guess you got to make some money in this program, right? You got to get you making some money. So what do you see yourself as, a 1, 2, or a 3? Because we had a 1, 2, or 3 close. And they say, well, I think I'm a 2. I have some questions. Great. Well, since you have some questions, you can get your questions answered. Let me introduce you to Mike. And Mike was the speaker. And then I'd say before we, one of the things we're going to teach you is some things about the business that's very important. And you're not going to probably be able to get no sleep tonight. So we don't like to tell it to you until the next day. So then I would take you up to Mike. Mike would say, hey, how's it going, John? And John would look at Mike. And if John didn't know the follow-up script, John didn't say, well, I really want to do it. And if the rep didn't say to me, Stephen, John's the number 2. He has some questions. He wants to get some questions answered. He didn't say that sentence. You know what I'd say? Hey, John, it was nice to meet you. Talk to you later. And I leave. And I let the guy lose the commission. You know why? You only did that once.
That's it.
I trained my team how to follow up. And then now I'd have a lot of people coming up to me, Stephen, this is Mary. She has a couple questions. Can we meet them? And I say, yeah, Mary. What I do is I have another part of the comp plan that I can show you, but I can't show it to you today because you probably won't get much sleep tonight. Why don't we set up a time tomorrow where I can get together and show you what it is? They'd say, yeah. I send them home with a $20,000 package. They'd come back the next day to a restaurant. I sit down with them. What's the probabilities of them buying? Very high, because I let them go home. I let them think about it, and then they showed back up to get the rest of the information. That follow-up script is what made the difference. You see, it was a system. It was a system in place. That same exact system is what we're doing here. But the difference is they can do it on the first call because we have a product that can get them to buy now. But you have to learn the product because your income is in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. So, like I said, you got to know you got to believe it's the best product. You got to believe it's the best, that they need the product. They need this tool. Now, they may not want the tool. They may not buy the tool, but that has nothing to do with your belief that they need it. They're going to buy your belief that they need it. That's the second thing. Second core belief. You got to believe, they got to believe that you're doing them a favor by offering it to them. This is the key. This is the key to the deal. When you're sharing this with someone, they got to believe that you're doing them a favor. They're not doing you a favor by joining. You're doing them a favor by allowing them to join with you because you're the best. See the mindset? Now, you never want to say that to someone. You never want to portray that to someone, but you got to feel it. Let me tell you a story. In that other company, I had a situation happen, and I have to say I felt bad about it because one of my guys, his name was Jay. He actually he ran a $10 million real estate business after that. I trained him, and He grew up and built his business big. But anyway, he had brought a person to meet with me at the follow-up. And this guy, we went to church together. So I knew the guy. He was a good friend. So we went to this Denny's, and we were sitting there at the Denny's. And we're talking, and I'm asking him, I'm going through my process with him, and he's talking off the wall. I mean, he's talking about, well, I do this business. He got like 6 businesses. I said, great. Which one of those businesses are you making any money at? Well, we're just getting started. I said, so none of them you're making any money. Okay, good. Well, one of the things I learned about is to focus. You probably want to focus on one of them. Which one's the one? And I'm trying to help this guy really through this process. And he was just talking about all these crazy ideas and this and that, making no money, but having all these great wild ideas. And I don't know what happened to me. I lost it. I just bursted out laughing right in his face. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to be me, but I literally could not contain myself. I was crying, laughing, tears were running down my. And I said, man, I am so sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at your dreams or anything. And he was so mad at me. He was like, I am not going to be on his team. And he told Jay, I don't want to be on this team. And I was like, okay, well, I apologize because, I think being on my team is probably going to be in your best interest because I'm running the show here. These are my offices. I said, I don't need the commission. If you're thinking about, because I get a large commission from it. A large commission. I was like, I'm not concerned about the commission, but I strongly recommend you get on Jay's team, that Jay sponsors you, and then I'll work with you, I'll train you, I'll help you. He refused. I said, okay. So he decided to get signed on somebody else. I sponsored somebody else for Jay to make up for it. Jay went on to be a 7-figure income earner. That guy didn't make a dime in the business and quit and donated $20,000 to the company. Why? Because he wasn't trained properly. Here's why. The whole moral of the story is this. It was in his best interest to be on my team. It didn't affect my income, it affected his income. So the mindset I'm trying to help you get here is that you got to believe that when you're talking to someone, that it's in their best interest to be on your team. You're not doing them a favor. See, in this business, you need people to build your business, but not any one person. Let me say that again. You need people to build your business, but you don't need them. You don't need that guy. See, I got a bunch of 6- and 7-figure, 8-figure income earners, network marketing owners in this company already in my team. But it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna affect my income if they build the business. It's gonna affect their income because I'm gonna build the business with or without them. You get it? So the whole point is this: you got to believe that you're gonna build the business without them, which is the 4th core belief that it's their loss if they say no. It's their loss if they join this business and they don't do it. It's their loss if they join the business and they quit. It's their loss, not mine. It ain't going to affect my income at all. I'm going to get another one look just like them. You understand? So here's the mindset you got to have, that you believe that the company is the best, that the product's the best, that the service is the best, the compensation plan is the best, you're the best. You got to believe that they need the product. The people you're speaking to need the product. You got to believe that you're doing them a favor by allowing them to work with you, and it's their loss if they say no. When you have that 4 core belief, people will be attracted to you, and they'll want to work with you. That's a mindset you have to have. And we're going to be establishing that mindset because that's the same thing with this whole company. And that's what we're going to be teaching. Okay, so that's a mindset. So now, again, when you're making a presentation, you're going to learn how to have that mindset inside, but it's not an arrogance. It's not a pride. Everybody here knows me. That's not my mindset. But trust me, that's my mindset inside. When someone doesn't join with me, I almost feel sad for them. Really, I feel bad if they don't join with me. That's the mindset because I know I can help them. And I know I have a compassion to help them. That's why, especially when they're hurting. You see the mindset? It's a compassion. It's not like an arrogance. It's a compassion that I want to be able to help them. And I've honed my skills enough to where I know I can help them. But if they choose not to, it's not going to affect my income. It's going to affect their income. It's going to affect their livelihood. It's going to affect their situation. Same thing with our product. If they don't buy this product and they keep using Zoom, they're losing money. How much more money do you want to keep losing? When is the pain going to hurt bad enough? You understand? So you got to have that mindset with these people. So that's the 4 core beliefs. So with that said, let's talk about how to show the plan now. We talked about your income is going to be in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. So now let's talk about how to show the plan. One-on-one. You learn the demo. That's where everything begins. You learn the demo. When I first got into this, I didn't know how to do a demo. I said, Ray, can you show me? Ray would take me to the presentation. I'd watch Ray and I'd watch what he did. I saw the screens he opened, the things he said. I take notes. I said, Steve, can you do a demo for me? He did a couple of demos for me. After a couple of times, I said, okay, I got it. And I started doing my own demos. That's it. I didn't need them to do my demos. It's good that we have them, but I don't need them to do my demos. I needed them at the beginning, just like anyone does. Everyone, the same thing. Same thing happened in that real estate company. Same thing. When I first got in, for the first 3 months, I couldn't close an open face sandwich. I couldn't get anybody to buy. I was doing all kinds of stupid stuff. And then I brought people to a meeting in Los Angeles. I bought a new car with a 7-passenger vehicle so I could take people to this meeting in Los Angeles, because I lived about 50 miles away, and a 50-mile drive in California is like a 4-hour drive. So I figured if I've got a big enough car, I could take people to the meeting. So that's what I would do. I would load my car up, take them to Torrance, where my sponsor was there doing the presentation. That's what I would do. And I brought like 50 people to the meeting. I had one person sign up. I was like, what the heck is wrong? How come nobody's joining the business? Well, I learned a sentence, and this is a very important sentence, because I found out they didn't tell me that Justin was having a meeting in Irvine 5 minutes from my house. So you got to understand, there was a meeting 5 minutes from my house, but they had me drive 40 minutes because I was bringing so many people to the meeting. And they didn't tell me that. So what ended up happening? I remember the sentence. I said, my wife was pregnant. She was, at the time, she was with my son. She was like 6, 7, 8 months pregnant, something like that. And we went over to this house. Now, remember, 3 months went by with no money. I left Aflac. I had no money. I was literally living on my overdraft protection at the time. I was literally living on my overdraft. So when we went to this meeting, I said, go look at this other meeting and check it out. I heard there's a meeting 5 minutes from our house at the Hyatt Hotel. Go check it out. So she checked it out. She came back and said, yeah, it looks pretty good. It's not quite as good as the other one, not at all, but it could work. And so the next week we went, and we could not park in the parking lot because I didn't have the $6 for the park. So we parked across the street at the Soup Plantation. I walked my pregnant wife over to this meeting, and we went in. There was about 10 people in the meeting. It was really weak, but I was like, you know what? I think I can make this work. I think I can make this one work. So what I did is I did. And so I started bringing people to the meeting. And then the next day, Justin said, hey, I'll do a follow-up. I said, yeah, man, because I brought 50 people to the meeting. He goes, you brought 50 people to the meeting? I was like, yeah, nobody signed up. He goes, bring them to me. I said, okay, no problem. So Justin had an office. I took the first person to Justin, sat him down. He had his paper pen out. He did his presentation. And the lady signed up, $20,000, one shot. I was like, oh, okay. I said, I got another one. I brought another one later on that day. He brought another one in, did the same thing, signed up. And I was like, well, I got like 48 more of those. He goes, no, man, it ain't going to work like that. He goes, from this point on, we're going to split the commission 50-50. I was like, no, it's all good. I think I got it now. So I went, I saw what he did. I mimicked his success. And boom, the next month I made 30 grand. The next month I made 50 grand. The next month I made 70 grand. The next month I made 114,000 out in a month in that company. And me and Mike, we then created a training system called a Fast Pack, and that company exploded. But what did I do? I mimicked success. You understand? So the reason I'm sharing that with you is I want you to understand, but it all started me doing one-on-ones, me learning the product and doing one-on-ones. That's where it began. And so you got to learn, this is your business. It's one-on-one. The next thing you do is what's called a two-on-one. Meaning you have, maybe you're not as good as it, or you want someone to help you, then you can call me, or you can call Steve, or you can call Ray. Any one of us will do a two-on-one with you. You have your one guest. It's the two of us. We show the presentation. But at that time, you should be learning, not just watching. You should be learning the presentation. Tell Ray to record it or Steve to record it, and then you can have the recording of that presentation. So you need to learn that two-on-one. And then when you start doing two-on-one for your team, the way you learn how to do something is by doing it. So I started doing two-on-ones for my team. I said, hey, I'll give you my counter, just like Steve said to me. And I started duplicating that through my team. Because when I'm doing the presentation, who's learning it better, you or me? Me. Mm-hmm. I'm learning it better. So that's why I did it more often. You understand? So I started doing it so I can learn it. Not that I was perfect. I was making mistakes. So what? How you learn? You fail forward. And that's exactly what I was doing. So the second way to do the business is two-on-one. The next way you do the business is you do one-to-many. One-to-many. like what I'm doing right now. This would have been a presentation. So what did I do? I booked the schedule. Here's the one-to-many I started with. The one way I did it, I called my upline and said, Ray, I'm going to have like 5 people on a meeting. Can you do the presentation for me? He said, yeah. So I booked the meeting. And here's the key to doing one-to-many. You book the date and build to the event. You don't wait till you get the 5 people in to build to the event. No, you schedule a date and you build to the event. That's how you do it. So today you say, Steven, you know what? I want to do a meeting on Monday. Great. What time? 3 o'clock? Okay, great. And then you fill the event. That's your job now. Once you book the meeting, your job is to focus on it. Blinders on, fill the event with 5, 10, 15, 20 people, 2 people, whatever the number is. And whoever's doing the speaking won't care if one person shows up, 50 people show up, or no one shows up. Because like today, no one showed up. But guess what you do when no one shows up? Train. You teach. You understand? Because you learn it better. So when someone, matter of fact, it's actually better that no one showed up because now I'm doing the training. And guess what? I didn't have this training written out. I'm making it up on the fly. You know why? Because I can, because I've done it enough times. But the whole point is this. When you train, it's better. You see, it's better than even signing somebody up. Signing up somebody new is one thing, but if I can train you guys all to do it, I duplicate. You understand? So, but the way you do that is you do one-to-many. You book the meeting and you build to the event. So that's the next thing. The next thing what you do is you want to book your own meeting and build to the event. So you can book your own meeting, set a date, and then have other people come to it. Like I did. Write this down. Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, later today. Those 3 times I do a meeting. I show the plan. And you guys are all welcome to invite your guests. Right now, I'm not doing the smart links yet because we haven't been trained enough on it yet. But right now, I'm doing those meetings. So 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And you guys should all have a thing from me. I sent you a text, which you can put your name and email in because that gives you our calendar. We have a team calendar that will have the links and everything in it. So sign up for that team calendar. Make sure everybody in your team is signed up for that team calendar so that they can get the communication from us. So that's one thing. Now there's another one. Saturday, 12 p.m. to 12:30 is the opportunity presentation. From 12:30 to 2 is my training. Right now, I'm doing the training, but at some point, when you guys start getting to that point, you guys will start doing some of the training, or Ray may do the training, or Steve may do the training. But for now, it's me. Okay? So those are the schedules. You got Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 5 p.m., 12 p.m. training. And then we have the Tuesday night leadership meeting for the company. The company has the Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Those are opportunity presentations. Guess what those are called? Showing the plan times. Yes, Steve, Mike, you had a question?
Yeah, you're going to show the plan at 12 to 12:30, and then from 1:30 to 2 training, right?
From 12.
I'm sorry, from 12:30 to 2.
Yeah. So the presentation usually about 30 to 40 minutes, and then right after that we do the training because that gives you an opportunity to bring the people that you brought on Monday, brought on Wednesday, brought on those people. You can invite them to Saturday. They see the opportunity and they come to the training, and then they can now build to the event Saturday afternoon.
Right.
See, they're strategically placed for that reason, so that you have the time to build to the event. Okay, write this sentence down. I said your income is going to be in direct proportion to the number of demos, the number of strategy sessions you do, the number of times you show the plan, right? But here's who's going to be the biggest. If you want to build a big team, the person who's going to be the biggest in the business is the person who puts the most people to the most events. The person who can get more people to more events are the ones that's going to be the biggest team, even if you're not the most skilled. In other words, you could do a horrible one-on-one and not even, you might not be able to close an open face sandwich, but you know what? You can promote to an event. If you can get people to the event, I know how, Steve knows how, Ray knows how, Mike knows how, other people know how to close the sale. So if you can just get people to the event, you can grow your business. Matter of fact, Dexter Yeager, you guys don't know who Dexter Yeager is. Most of you don't. But Dexter Yeager was the biggest distributor in the history of network marketing in Amway. He was a truck driver. That's what he did for a living. He trained my mentor, Kevin. He trained my mentor. That's why Kevin was so good. But you know what he taught him? He said you ain't got to be the biggest sponsor. You ain't got to be the best closer. You ain't got to be the most dynamic and best speaker or nothing. You know what you got to do? You got to know how to get more people to more events. And that's what he did. He got more people to more events and became the biggest in the industry of the history of network marketing. Get it? So the same thing here. You got 5 events. Your goal every week, just fill the events. Now, the way you can do it faster is by do your own one-on-ones, 2-on-1, and then build to the event. Make sense? That'll build your customers and that'll build your team. Yes, Mike.
Monday through Thursday, Steve does an onboarding.
Yes.
What is the onboarding?
Great question. The onboarding is actually just training on how to use the software and answering questions.
Okay.
That's what it's for. So here's how you use the onboarding. And that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because on my calendar, it's on there too. The onboarding is every day, Monday through Thursday. Steve does the onboarding where he goes over the product, shows a couple of the features of the product, answers your question on how to use it, stuff like that. So it's a question answer with the owner, which is actually a really good thing he did that. That was another impressive thing because most owners won't do that. But he did that purposely to really help you guys learn this product. He's all in. He's pushed all his chips in on black and said, I'm doing this. I'm all in. So you guys should take advantage of that and make sure everybody you bring in goes to that onboarding. Just so you know, I'm creating a system, an automation system. So when someone on our team, I don't care what level they come in at, they're going to get an email and recommend them go to the onboarding, whether it's online. And I'm also going to have a recorded onboarding for the people that can't make it. All that's coming. It's all being built right now as we speak. Okay. So just so you understand, that's what the onboarding is for. Okay. They're going to get a welcome letter. They're going to get an onboarding. Now, if you decide to go and build your own business, then you can tell me who those people are. And if you don't want me to contact them, then I won't. I mean, I'll just take them out of our system. No big deal. But your team is my team is your team. That's how I look at it. So I'm willing to help you as much as you want. And you can always mimic anything I do as well. So I just want you to know that. Okay. So the next thing is building to the event. So now we already have events set up. I have what's called an event schedule. There's a calendar. I'll make sure by the way, everybody that's on here, just text me your phone number before we leave to my phone number, 714-814-6888. I know you guys all have my number, but I'm putting it on recording so you guys can have it. So text me your phone number. I'll text you the link so you can get on my calendar. Okay, so you can have the calendar, you can have everything that you need. The next type of event you can build to is you could build like to those onboardings. That is an event. Onboarding is an event. So you could, even if let's say somebody's new or maybe they're kind of hesitant, they're kind of waffling back and forth, you can invite them to the onboarding. Let them go. Get the questions answered. Guess what? It's another presentation. Yes, Mike? I can't hear you. You muted yourself.
Is there a way for you to build a smart link into the calendar so all somebody has to do is go to the calendar, click on it, and they're automatically brought to that event?
Great question. The answer is yes, that's going to happen.
Okay.
Just, Ray has talked to corporate about a better way to make the smart links easier and simpler. Because the way it was right now, it would be too confusing because every event would have to have a different smart link for different things. Right. But now they're coming up with a new one, but it's not done yet. That's the reason why I have not given out smart links yet. Once that's done, all my events, you guys will be able to get one smart link that can send to all the events. So you can give that out over and over and over to different people and it'll all track to you. It's just not done yet. So it's coming. Our CRM is coming real soon too, by the way. The CRM in the system is coming too for tracking and all of that. Okay, good question. The next thing is another event that you can build to is the Saturday training. The Saturday training that I do or any training that the company puts on, like the one that they had this morning at 10 a.m. or the 12. You see, we think that customers or prospects can't come to that. No, that's actually a good thing. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to get people to because that's when they're getting trained. They're seeing the system behind the system. So that's a good thing to do. Okay. So those are the events. So you want to build two events. Remember, your income is going to be in direct proportion to how many people you can get to how many events. Now, these are business builder events. Eventually, we're going to have customer events. Right now, because like in our company back in the day, we used to have what's called what were those things called? Invitationals or something like that. I forgot what it was called. What was it called, Mike? Those big Super Saturday things we used to have at the. I forgot. It was like a big conference, but it was just about the product. It wasn't. Yeah. There were these big events, so we're going to eventually have events about the product, just not yet. Right now, we got to build the sales force and the team. Now, I'm going after customers right now. I'm building an ecosystem about customers within help them get their 3. That's another thing you guys are going to see soon. When a person comes in our system, I'm going to have access to the downline. You guys all have access to your downline too, but I'm going to take the downline, put them into a system so that they can get an email and teach them how to get their 3. So imagine you sign up a customer, they get an email that shows them exactly how to get their 3. They're like, yeah, I want to get my 3. Matter of fact, I want to get my 4 because that's what I'm teaching them. They're going to get their 4. And then next thing you know, your business grows exponentially and you didn't do anything else to make it happen. And that's not even a business builder. That's just customers. So that's the next thing I want to be teaching is how to help them get their 3. Now, how does all this happen? This was supposed to be the whole intent of the training. So now I'm going to go through the training that I actually did write out, which is actually called this. The way you make this happen, you guys, the way this works, the single most important skill you can learn, well, there's a lot of skills you can learn, but this skill is what makes it all work. It's called edification. Edification is what makes this work in this industry. And that's how you get people to the one-on-one. That's how you get people to the 2-on-1. That's how you get people to the weekly meetings. That's how you get your team to join. It's called edification. See, I said the more times you show the plan, the more your income is going to grow. That's true. The biggest team is going to be the one that gets more people to the more events. That's right. But guess who's going to get them there? The best edifier. The one who knows how to edify the best is going to get the most people to the most events. So that's what I wanted to teach you right now is the process of edification. Let me tell you a story about that, why edification is so powerful. When I was in that last company, let me tell you what happened. It was kind of funny. I trained this edification to my buddy Jay Massey, great friend. And he was at the time broke because he basically had a challenge in his health and his finances. He literally was making no money. I said, Jay, if you follow what I teach you, just step by step, you'll be doing good. And he said, okay, I'll do it. So he came to the office. I started training him by edification because he didn't have any money. He had no credibility. He had nothing, but he did have a mouth. So I said, here, learn edification. I taught him that. And so one day I had rented an office because our business grew so big. We had a 3,000 square foot office, and then it grew bigger, faster. So the next month I opened up a 7,000 square office next door. So we had 10,000 square office feet. We'd have 700 people a week coming through our office, right, Mike? It was packed all the time. But it was funny because one day, me and my mom worked at the front desk. And I was sitting in my office one day, and this lady comes in at around noon. And she was like, hi. I was like, and my mom came and said, Stephen, there's somebody here to see you. I was like, hi. I was like, she goes, no, she's here to see Jay. I was like, oh, is he here to see Jay? I said, yeah, I think he's at lunch. I said, how can I help you? She goes, well, I'm here to see the opportunity presentation. Jay told me about it, and I wanted to come see it. I was like, okay, well, that's at 7 p.m. tonight. Why are you here at noon? She was like, well, because, I live in Pasadena, which is about 40 miles away. She goes, I live in Pasadena, and I took the day off because I really wanted to come see that guy, Steven. He said, the guy, Stephen Gregg, I needed to come and see him. And so I decided to take the day off work, and I wanted to come here because I really didn't want to miss this meeting. And I was like, wow, okay. Jay understood edification. So what Jay did was he edified me as this celebrity, as Michael Jackson, so that this lady would take off work to come to this meeting. And you wonder why Jay ran a 7-figure, 8-figure business after that, because he learned the process of edification. See, you don't need to be the best skilled. You just need to know how to build others up according to their needs. That's a biblical principle. It says you got to build others up according to their needs. So what edification means is you're building something else up. You're building other people up. You're building up the event. So I'm going to give you what to edify. Several things. One, you can edify the product. You can edify our product and what it can do and how much better it is than everything else out of the market. Now, you don't have to go through all the details, but you can talk about how we can screen share, and you can actually close right now and no more follow-up. You can actually close the sale while they're on the webinar and never do follow-up. If you said nothing else, people would show up. So you can edify that. You can edify the product. Second thing you want to edify is the person that that is you're going to be introducing them to. So let's say you're doing a 2-on-1. You want to edify Steve. You want to remember Steve in the meeting. He said you need to set up the meeting properly. That's what he means. You got to edify the person, that they're going to meet. So you're going to be meeting the CEO. Now, what if it's not the greatest person since sliced bread? Your prospect doesn't know that. So you got to talk to them. Now, you don't lie. Don't do that either. You don't want to say this guy's making all this money and all this stuff, and he's just getting started. But you can edify he's a great person, he's a great, great man or woman of God, or has a good family. You can edify something good about them to get them to want to come see him. Okay, and then when they come, man, I heard a lot of good things about you. Yes, Mike, you want to say something?
I just wanted to add one thing. I think the easiest way to edify is 2 facts and a story.
Yes.
So 2 facts about Steve, and then something that you see that's just genuine about who he is. So 2 facts and a story.
Great point. Yep, absolutely. 2 facts about Steve and a story. That's an easy rule of thumb that you can go by. And then you can elaborate to your liking. You know what I mean? But the whole point is that's a great, I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. 2 facts and a story keeps it simple and transferable and duplicatable. Good way to start. And then you can always build on top of that. Absolutely. Another thing you want to edify is the company. You can edify the company itself. I gave you reasons why this is the best company out there. You can edify that. You can also edify the leadership of the company. You should edify Steve, edify how he's put the program together, why he's giving away the money, how he's not spending money on marketing. He's giving it to the field. He's giving it to us. He could have given it to the advertising company, just made $1 billion business, but he didn't. He chose to give it to us. You can edify the fact that he's actually doing the meeting. I mean, how many owners do a meeting like that? You can. Those are all things you can edify, and that makes a difference. Then people will want to come. You can edify the event itself, how powerful the event's going to be. What it's going to do for them. It's going to help them change their life. It can help them change their trajectory, help them change their business model, and more importantly, you can change the opportunity. You can edify the opportunity. Timing is everything in business. And, this is a very good timing in this business of when we're in. So you can edify the timing of the venture. And that they're in even before we even really launch. We're in pre-launch of the pre-launch. We're just getting started. Hasn't even started yet. I bet you there's not 100 active people physically doing something every month. There might be 100 people in the business using the product, but it's not really a lot of business builders yet. Look at this, 5 people here, 6 people. You get it? There's not a lot. So that's called timing. So you can edify the opportunity. So that's very important. You got to learn to edify. The better you're good at edification, the better you can really help others. Now, here's how you get good at it. Listen. Watch a Mike give 2 facts in a story. Watch, somebody else do edification. Watch how when you hear someone get on there and they edify, talk good about someone, start to learn other people's stories. When you hear someone tell a story about someone that did a testimonial, write down that testimonial. Write down what they did for a living. Write down who they are so you can use that. That's testimonial. See, in this space, facts tell, stories sell. See, you got to tell them a little bit about what they do, but then you tell the story. You know what I mean? And it don't have to be a long story. If you notice in this meeting how many different stories I've told, there's a reason, because facts tell, stories sell. So that's what you want to learn to do. Get good at telling stories, not just your story. And by the way, there's 3 different types of stories. I'll do training on this later, but there's 3 types of stories. There's the good story, the good of what someone's done. Maybe they serve people, they help people, they run a nonprofit, whatever the good story is. There's the bad story, the challenges they've gone through in life, the ones maybe they've had challenges, they failed in the past or whatever. But then you got the good one. The best one is the ugly story. I didn't have $6 to pay my bill. I had to walk my wife across the thing when she was pregnant. I was named the $6 man in that company. You know what I mean? I was so poor I couldn't pay attention. I had nothing. I got in the business. I brought 50 people, and none of them joined tell the ugly story. You know what I'm saying? Ugly stories are the ones that really people say, "Wow, if he can do it, then I can do it." There's a lot of people right now that have ugly stories, and the story ain't getting prettier. I can tell you that right now. What's going on in this world, it ain't getting prettier. It's getting uglier. So guess what? You'll have a lot of ugly stories. But you know what? I love it when something bad happens to me. You know why? It's just another story. That's how I look at it. Stories pay me money. I don't look at my life. I got 500 stories about my life. You know why? Because I remember them all. Because I tell them. I talk about them. I boast about my weaknesses. I talk about the challenges I've gone through. You know why? Facts tell, stories sell. And another reason, because then people believe in you. They be like, man, this is a real guy. This is a real lady. Man, she's real. Not trying to look all perfect. No, I can tell you right now, I'm definitely not perfect. Far from perfect.
Makes you relatable.
There you go. Perfect word for it. Makes you relatable. So they can relate to you. That's right. And so you tell those stories. And you'll hear me over these times tell a lot of stories over these years. When you hear me doing trainings and stuff, I'm always weaving in stories, weaving in different situations, because they are relevant to the scenario. So you want to learn to do that. But edification is the key. Now, one thing I do want to tell you about edification. This is one thing you don't want to edify. You never want to edify your guest. Write that down. You never want to edify your guest to your upline. And I see people doing that too. That is ridiculous. They'll bring the guest up. Now, the guest is a doctor. They'll bring the doctor up to the guy in the front of the room. They'll say, yeah, hey, John, I want you to meet Joe the doctor. He's a millionaire. He's been doing successful and this and this and that. And he drives a Bentley, and you should see his house. And then here's Joe. Joe's standing there looking like a wimp. Now, okay. And the doctor's standing there like, yeah, now what are you going to tell me? He's been edified. Wrong. You understand? I don't care if that guy's, the richest person on earth. You edify this guy and say you need to be listening to him. you need to listen to this guy. Now you can talk good about. You can say, hey, he's a successful business owner, successful real estate agent. But let me tell you about John. John does this and he's done that. He helps this. He's willing to help you too. That's how you're posturing it properly. And let me tell you why this is important. Because, and this is a mindset you got to understand about people. And this is why I don't put anyone on a pedestal. I don't care who they are. There's only one guy on a pedestal, and that's the Lord. But other than that, nobody is on a pedestal from my perspective. Here's why. Because think about this. I don't care who you're speaking to. We're all equal. We're all equal. Nobody's better than anyone else. Let me show you what I mean. There's people out there that are excellent, that run multi-million-dollar companies. They run farms. They run businesses. They do all this stuff. Run those, right? Get them in the pitch and try to do some network marketing. They suck. They need me now. You see, I'm the expert in this business. They're an expert at what they do. I'm the expert here. You understand? If I go to a restaurant and I try to get a job as a chef, guess what? I need help. Pedro back there that's doing the hamburgers needs to teach me. I need to shut up and listen to him because he's the expert at doing the hamburgers. I'm the idiot. You understand what I'm saying? At the Taco Bell or wherever, I'm just saying, whoever I'm meeting, if I go to do any job, the person that's there, they know far more than I do. So they're the expert. I'm the idiot. We're all equal. Some jobs pay more than others, but that doesn't make you any better. You understand? Just because someone's job pays more money doesn't make them better. So that's why I don't look at anybody as better or worse. We're all equal. I mean, there might be a guy in the dumpster laid in the gutter, no money, but a brain surgeon. He just happened to run into some bad luck. He's just in between money. Maybe something happened to him. You understand? We don't know. He got divorced and now he's depressed. But guess what? Get him out of there, clean him up. That person go and run a hospital, right? So you can't prejudge people. You just got to look at it. Everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. Nobody's better than another. But when it comes to edification, you need to build up the person in the front of the room because their job is to build your business. That's their job. You see, when they're in the front of the room, that's the most important person in the room. So that's why even coming to these trainings, coming to these meetings, have your camera on. Because if you have your camera off, that means you're doing something else more important than the person that's sitting there speaking to you. Imagine this. Imagine going to a live event, and you got a live event. You bring 5 of your guests to that live event. Now you got the speaker in the front of the room, and you sit all your five guests right up front because you want them to see the message. But then you go out, you go have a hamburger, you go do something else. You're going to talk on the phone out the back. But your guests are in the front. Would that make sense? Or even worse?
Nope.
Let's say you and all the people that are in the business, while the speaker's speaking, all of you guys just turn your back and just look out the window, start doing stuff. While all the guests are looking at the speaker, you're turned around. What are you telling those guests? That guy ain't important.
Mirror and match, baby. Mirror and match.
That's what we feel when you come here and don't turn your camera on. You get it now? Andrea, she's a little exception because she might be at work. She works at her job and sometimes she can't have it on, but she wanted to be here anyway. But the point is, and now sometimes you can't have your camera on. I understand that's we're not talking about exceptions. We're talking about the rule. The rule, if you're going to come to the training, you're going to come to meet with someone, have the respect to have your camera on. Now, when I was on the training earlier, I had my camera off, but I had to because I had some situations going on at my house. Plus, I was a little late because I was doing a presentation. But the whole point is there's always an exception to a rule. But when you come to trainings, when you come to meetings, this is our interaction time, because it used to be we'd meet in a house, we meet in a hotel, we'd be friends with, we'd be there in person. This is our in-person time. So the last thing someone wants to come do is train a bunch of black screens while you guys are out doing something else. Because if you got the screen on, there's a reason you got the screen on. Trust me, it ain't that you got a bad hair day. It's because you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing while you should be paying attention. Make sense?
I had an exception. I had an exception at the beginning of the.
There's an exception. There's always an exception. I'm talking about the rule. There's always an exception. I'm talking about the rule. The rule is you come to a meeting, you come attentive to the meeting. You have your white paper and blue ink. You're ready to take notes for the meeting. You're there to ask questions. You're participating in the meeting, just as if it was live, because it is live. Yeah. We're just not in person. Fortunately for our business, what's happening right now, you guys may not realize it, but all this war and all this stuff is about to create the exact same storm that happened in 2020, when all those people were on online. That same thing's going to happen soon. So guess what? We're ahead of it this time. I told Steve, why do you think I'm planting so much seed? So when it starts to rain, it's going to grow a whole field of corn. That's why I'm planting a lot right now. And that's what I recommend you guys to do. You guys to really buckle down and think through how big do I want this business to be? How much of this is my business, or is this just part-time, or what do I want out of this? And then come up with a plan. And then plans don't fail. People fail. See, but you got to plan it. You got to think, what do I want to do? And there's no such thing as a dream that you can't have. Whatever your goal is for this business, and start with the numbers. Numbers are the easiest way to start. I want 1,000 customers by 90 days. So I told you I wanted 1,000 customers in 90 days. That was my intent. Now I'm not there. I'm not near there yet. But guess what? I got 60 more days left. Yeah. But guess what? The system is in place. Now I had to set an infrastructure to make. I got a whole ecosystem, a whole infrastructure to make it happen. So starting now, we're going to now start to do the marketing. This was without marketing. So now it's going to start to grow and grow and grow and grow. Because my intent is to have 1,000 clients, 1,000 customers in the system. Now, if I don't have 1,000, let's say I only have 200. So what? I'm 200 more than I would have had if I didn't set the goal, right? So you got to set a goal. What if I have 500 or 1,000? It doesn't matter the number. But I set a goal. I set a benchmark. Because if I don't hit that goal, guess what I'm going to do? Next quarter, set the same goal. Do it again. I'm going to do it until I hit the goal. See, a lot of people set a goal and don't hit the goal. And they say, oh, well, it didn't work. Oh, my gosh, let me quit. No, what you do is you just revamp the goal. Write this sentence down. There is no such thing as an unrealistic goal. Just an unrealistic time frame. See, I said I was going to hit 1,000 in 90 days. But what if it took 6 months? So what? 6 months is going to come with or without me setting the goal. It's going to be here anyway, so I might as well hit the goal, set the goal, right? So if I set it for 3 months and it happens in 5 months, do I care? No, you see, but some people won't set the goal because what if I miss it? Okay, but what if you hit it? How about that idea? What if you get close to it? I can guarantee you, the goal you don't set, you'll hit. I can guarantee that. That's for sure. Right? You don't set a goal, I'll put money on that one. You won't hit it. You get it? Okay, so this is very important. You guys got to really think through, what do I want out of this business? What do I want to make out? What am I going to do with the money? So set a number goal, because the good news is this is what you don't have to do. To build this business, you don't have to do all the stuff I'm doing. I just have a massive goal and I'm making the decision to be the leader. I'm doing it for you. Because when I hit 1,000 in 90 days, guess what your belief's going to say? Wow, maybe I can do that. Now, not all of you, but some of you might. One of you might say, you know what? I think I can do the same thing next quarter. And guess what? Next quarter, you're going to do it. And then someone else is going to say, you know what? He did it in 90 days. I might be able to do it in 2 months. And then guess what? They're going to do it. It's kind of like the guy who ran the mile first time, right? Nobody had ever run a mile. And then after he ran a mile, like 50 people ran the mile a couple months later. Why? Because he set the bar. He set the standard. That's why. And that's what I'm doing for you. You understand? So you don't have to do all the things I'm doing to hit 1,000. You don't have to do all the things I'm doing. What you got to do is do something. Show the plan a couple times. Show the plan 5 times a week. start promoting to these events. Let us build the business for you. We already have the system in place. If you put 10 people a week at my meeting 3 days a week or 4 days a week, how fast would you grow your business? And then got them on this training so they could be trained by me, how fast would you grow your business? If you never showed the plan yourself one time and you just did that, how fast would you grow your business? Well, guess what? Hint, hint. I'd recommend to do it. Fill my events. That's why I created them for you. I created them so you can fill the events. The last thing I want to touch on before I let you guys go, because I'm opening it up for questions. Last thing is, you got to know what your business is. What is your number one product? What is the number one product? Who wants to shout out? What do you believe is your number one product in this business? John, you want to say? What do you think is your number one product? Mike, you believe you're the number one product. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean me. I mean, if they've got to know, like, and trust you to do business with you.
That's a good point. Let me break that down for you real quick, because that's another one of those lies. People don't have to know, like, and trust you. Let me explain why I say. Let me explain why I say that. I know a little bit about my mechanic. I like him. He's a nice guy. I trust that he's going to give me a good price. But you know why I go to him? Because he's good and he's a good price and he's convenient and he knows what he's doing. He's competent.
Yeah.
See, I do business with people that are competent. I don't have to like him that much. I ain't gonna go over his house and spend time with him. I don't need to know his family history, or I don't need to. As long as he shows up and does the job. See, and that's the know, like, and trust thing that changed this whole networking thing. You know what? People do business with people that are competent. Who are you going to take? That's who people do business with. People that are competent, that they know what they're doing. They're trustworthy. They actually do what they say they're going to do. You may not like them that much. A lot of people don't like me. You know why? I'm pretty direct. You guys don't know. I'm pretty direct sometimes. But you know what? And you know what? It's funny because a lot of women, some women get upset. But you know what? They know I care. They know I love them. They know I'm here to pour my heart out for them. And you know what? They stick with me. I have more women coaching clients than anyone else, because men can't take it a lot of times. They want me to fluff around and make them feel good. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to make you successful. And that's what my mentors did for me. How do you make a sword? You got to hammer it and hammer it, put it in some hot holes, let it get red hot. You pull it out, you beat it some more, you beat it some more, then you stick it in freezing cold, and then you pull it out again, then you put it back in the heat, and you beat on it, then you sharpen it, and then you got a samurai sword. You don't make a samurai sword by fluffing it up with pillows and telling out good news and how great they are. You get it? So if you want to build this business, you want to be a 6-figure income earner, you want to be a 7-figure income earner, you got to become a sharp sword. You got to be sharp. You got to know your product. You got to know your service that you offer. You got to know the industry. You got to have the 4 core beliefs. You got to be direct and bold and care about people more than they care about themselves. You got to be willing to do more than you're paid to do, and then you'll be paid more for what you are doing. Zig Ziglar said that best years ago, and I stole it. I borrowed it. He said, if you do more than you're paid to do, the day will come when you'll be paid more for what you are doing. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a lot more than I'm paid to do. I've given up a lot of cash. You have no idea. But you know what? It's okay. I'm doing more than I'm paid to do. And the day will come, we'll be paid more for what I am doing. Because when I'm sitting on the beach, for me and Andrea, we're out relaxing over in Hawaii for a month. And I just call you up, hey, how's it going? And I say, how's it going? I look at my iTrack. Well, we'll call it a pitch system then, because it'll be a tracking system in there. And I say, hey, how's everything going? Business is going great. Guess what? I ain't doing nothing. But my income doubled. You get it? You got to do more than you're paid to do. And then you'll be paid more for what you are doing. So that's a mindset. So you got to really, decide to build this business, you guys. Really make the plan. Really decide to do it. There was one thing I said I was going to tell you at the end. Anybody remember what I started to say?
What's the most important product?
I wanted to see who was paying attention. Yes. What's the most important product? Got it. So let me tell you. No, really, what really happened, I forgot. I was saying got to win on a rampage. But thanks, Mike, for catching me in there. So let me tell you what it is. The most important product. What is the product? What is the most important product in your business? It's not pitch. It's not you. It's the income opportunity. the income opportunity. That's your number one product in your business. Now, don't get me wrong. Our product, our software is the key, right? That's what makes this all work. But the most important product is the business opportunity. Because think about this. How many people right now are losing their job? Millions to AI. The more I use Gemini, the more I realize how many people are going to lose their job. That's all I got to know. Because the stuff that thing pops out and and I'm thinking that's just Gemini. I can imagine all the other AI stuff that's going on out there. I said, dude, people are losing their jobs. So guess what they need? Do they need pitch? Yes, because they can sell their widget or whatever. What if they don't have a widget to sell? What if they don't have an insurance policy to sell because they lost their job? What if they don't have that? Guess what they could do? They could join pitch. And they could join pitch and use the product. And then they can go and build the business as big as they want anywhere in the world. The number one product, the number one thing Steve did in this company is made this compensation plan the way he did. That was what I was more impressed with. The product is outstanding, no doubt about it. But the biggest problem, the biggest reason why we're going to blow past Zoom, because of the comp plan. That's why. Because he gave everyone an opportunity to make money. And when the world starts to find out, when these people start to find out, when these network marketers and people start to find out, and all these people that are laid off, and when I'm going to create an entire training system for people that have no money, that have nothing. When people in Africa, India, and other countries that have no money, have nothing, they could join this program for free and still make money. That's unheard of in this space. Now, you guys don't know, you may not have noticed, but the big join button now button is gone. If you notice, I hid it. I had them hide it. It's actually in the bottom. If you go to that same page, you go to the bottom and it says little join now, it's hidden because it's not supposed to be prevalent. It's supposed to be a extra. It's designed for people that have no money, that are in between money. Maybe they have zero money. But if someone doesn't have $200, then they need this program more than you can think. If they come to, if someone now from this point, if someone says, well, I really want to do it, but I'm not willing to spend $200, then they're not willing to be on my team. They can go find somebody else to join with because they're not willing to invest in themselves $200 for an opportunity like this, then they don't need to be in the program. They want to try it out to see how it works, then they're not serious. They're not looking at this as a business because they don't even have the product. How can you be a product of the product if you don't own the product? You understand? How can they use the product and tell people about it and how good it is? If you don't know anything about the product, you tell people how good it is, you know what you are? A charlatan. You're a scam artist. You don't even know the product. How can you tell people how good it is? You don't even own it. Well, if it's good enough for the goose, but it's not good enough for the gander. Now, is there an exception to that rule? Of course, there's an exception to every rule. There are people that have gigantic followings. Like, let's say I met a guy in a network marketing business and he had 50,000 people in his downline. But because he has 50,000 people in his downline, he has to continue to use Zoom because that's not our market. By the way, big companies and big downlines and big organizations and stuff, that's not our target. You guys know that, right? Our target are entrepreneurs and individuals and small teams. It's not the big teams. Zoom can keep that. Zoom's not going away, just so you guys know. They're just going to go away from a lot of our customers. You understand? But have the big corporations. That's what they set their system up for. They can have the big organization. Great, keep them. We're going to get all the employees that work there individually. You get it? So here's the point. If a network marketer has 50,000 people in his downline, he can stay with Zoom because he has to talk to 50,000 people or 10,000 people at a time. Stay with Zoom. But guess what? He can take this program and use it to group, has a team duplicate, and he can join for free because he's an affiliate. He's an ambassador. And he can actually have 10, 20, 50, 100 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people join this program and still make the same residual income without even buying the product. Somebody like that, I'll let do it. You get it? Yeah. But an individual person that wants to look at this program and says, oh, yeah, no, but I just want to do the free. Then you can do the free without me because I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to be chasing people that aren't willing to invest in their business anymore. I started to do that because I was trying to help the homeless. And I am going to help the homeless. I am going to help the people that don't have any money. Don't get me wrong. If someone flat out is destitute, they have nothing, that's different. I'll help them get in for free and I will help them build their business. But I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the person that has the money, that has the ability to do it and chooses not to. That's a different mindset. You understand? So when they get the right mindset and they really want to build the business, then we can talk. So the reason I'm sharing that with you guys is because I want you guys to learn, one, how to edify. Get the edification down. If you have questions on that, I'll be doing more trainings on that in the future. You now know what events to build to. You build to the events. The more people you build to the event, the better. You can take this whole week and just line all my events in there and just focus on building to the event. And then, sign those people up. Get the momentum going. Get your 3, get your 5, get your 10, get your 20, and get your 30. Focus on that. Make that a focus. Make that a very big focus. And that's important. Because if you focus on that, you'll hit your goals. You'll start getting into the residual. You'll have the proof of concept. You'll have a story. Facts tell, stories sell. And the last thing is start showing the plan. Your income's in direct proportion to how many times you show the plan. And I'm going to leave you with this last acronym that I'm going to open up for questions. I've been saying the word focus for a long time. I've been saying the word focus for a reason. Focus. Focused energy is better than a lot of energy dispersed. See, right now in this bedroom, there's a lot of energy coming from this light bulb. There's a lot of energy. It's all around, right? But focused energy, it's like a laser beam. It could break through steel. It could burn through a rock. Focused energy is better than a lot of energy dispersed. If you just focus and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on learning this product. I'm going to focus on showing the plan 5 times a week. I'm going to focus on filling Stephen's events every week. I'm going to focus on training every week and getting people here. I'm going to focus on getting my 30. I'm going to focus. Focus. You know what focus stands for? Follow one course until successful. That's what it stands for. So if you guys focus on these things that I just shared, telling you, you'll hit your goal, you'll change the trajectory of your financial future. All right, guys, I'm done. So now, any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas about the training, anything you want to share, anything you liked about it, or you're welcome to unmute yourself too, by the way.
Wow, Stephen, you are the bomb. You know what? I found out that the people who come in for free, is that past the pre-launch now? Because I thought Ray said you can't get paid off of the free no more. Like if somebody joins for free and they sell like the $200 product, they can get paid off of that. What happens to that pay, that commission?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about this. So you're saying that a person who's free can't get paid?
Yeah, that's her.
I have not heard that.
You.
I have not heard that.
That's what Ray said.
I'll find out, but I haven't heard that.
Yeah, can you find that out?
Trust me, I will be talking to them about that one because that is not a good idea.
Because he said, that was during the pre-launch, and no, you can't get paid.
No. I have not heard anything of the sort. I'm sure Steve would have mentioned that. No, that's not the intent.
Thank you.
No, it wouldn't make sense because you have to have that. You have to be able to get commission on it. Because if not, then what's the purpose of the free program? Doesn't make sense.
Well, so if that's the case, then everybody would have joined for free.
No, that's not the case. Yeah, they have to have a commission based on the free. There has to be, because that's by law, by the way. Yeah, an affiliate program has to by law have to have a free way to join. What we did was we hid the button so that most people won't just do it for free. We had the button on the screen where the payment buttons were, but we took it off there. So now it's hard to find. But I don't think that you still have to get paid on the free. Yeah. But anyway, I'll double check. But I think you may have heard it incorrectly. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Good point, though. I'm glad you brought it up because I will definitely check. But that can't be the way. But anyway, anyone else have any questions, comments, or thoughts about what they just learned today? I'd love to hear from each one of you guys if you don't mind. Okay, I'll just pick you. Mike, how about you? You want to go next?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Good, man. I have the fixed events on the calendar, and seeing less, the events are going to be there. You need to invite the people to them because I was of the different mindset. Like, okay, I got to get the people, and then well, can you make it? Can you make it? Can you make it? And I realized it's just waste time. And if a friend of mine invited me something, I saw him still like at least 20 people, and I was thinking, well, okay, I'll join. I mean, I know her, and she doesn't have anything that I want, right? We actually kind of, see each other. It's like, okay, I got no, just this. It's like, nah, I already got that. Okay, fine, no problem. And I said I would join her, demo, whatever she was. And when I got there, it was just she and I, right? So she invited. I'm the only one who showed up, but it was short notice, and she had spot. So waiting for consensus as to who's coming. She was like, okay, I need to practice presentation, and I appreciated that. So it turned out to be really good. Then I
So Keith, you're breaking up really bad, buddy.
Things, and I did mention to her as well.
Keith, you're breaking up really bad, my friend. I could barely hear what you're saying. But do me a favor. After the call's over, talk to me direct because you're really breaking up, so I couldn't hear you. But it's okay. It's okay. Just stay on. But call me after so I can understand what you just said because I couldn't understand it. Mike said he's gonna call me. Or he's gonna call me in a minute. Okay. Anyone else want to share anything they liked about it, which is how Andrea?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. All your stuff is right on par with. I've been in the business a long time as well, so I mean, those are all things that we know, but we need to always hear them because just because you know them doesn't mean that you put them in practice. Edification is a huge deal because your presenter's got to be the most important person in the room. If not, no one's going to listen. And your team has to see that you do. You've got to show them what to do. And if you're not doing it, they're not going to do it. If you're not showing up, they're not showing up. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So yeah, those are all key points for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, John. And I know you know what's going on. You got like a huge team in your downline and everything, and I get that. And so yeah, these they seem basic principles, but people forget. And so that's
Absolutely.
why I'm going back to basics and going back to old school. I'm teaching you guys the fundamentals because these are the things that I learned that you have to know. And if you don't know them, then you can't apply them. So that's right. Good. So that's why these trainings are so important on Saturday because I'm going to give the meat of what it takes to make it in the business in bite-sized chunks. And then all of these trainings eventually will be recorded and put into a place where you guys can go listen to them over and over again. But if you notice, they're just raw and real. But the foundation I covered today was so important. It's very, very important.
And that's why, if they can make some of these trainings, I know they record them. I just don't ever see them. But I'd like to get these recordings so I can start, listening to them over and over.
My trainings are all recorded, and I have Academy. I'm actually creating a front door for you guys for the training. The company trainings, they're working on that. They have to wait till they make the back end CRM, which is coming, and then I think they'll probably have that available for you guys. So I'll be working on that too.
Yeah, I think I just looked in WhatsApp, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that David put today's training, I think, in the back office, but I'm not. I mean, on
the WhatsApp.
I think he did it.
Yeah.
Where he
they're using the WhatsApp right now, but WhatsApp can only go so far. Eventually, it will be a training academy. We'll be working on that. I'm talking to Steve, and I'll be working with these guys to help them put together a training academy for everyone. But remember, just bear with it. Right now, we're ground floor, and here's the coolest part: there's not much more you need to know. Go learn the presentation and show the plan. Get to focus on this, not focus on any more training. You already know, John, especially you. You already know what to do. You learn, do what I did today. If you did nothing else, if you put the focus on and you learn how to do it, show the plan yourself. You already know how to edify. You get people to my events. You'll build to 500 events. You got 800 people in your downline. You should be there in no time. So you see what I'm saying? So just focus on that. Don't worry about all the trade. All the other systems will come together. That was what I had to do. Is I had to stop thinking about what needs to be fixed or what need to be added. Why don't I just work with what I have and get that down, and then everything else will come. So that's why I did that. So that's what I'd recommend you guys to do. Just focus on what you got. Focus on what you got right now. The system the way it is. If there's a glitch in the system, there's a glitch in the system. That's why it's new. That's why we're called ground floor. Right, and then once we get to that,
I'm talking about. I just want to hear. I want to hear the how to, presentation. I mean, I know how to talk to people, but I mean, I just want to know the better.
Let me help you with that right now.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
use Zoom right now?
Yes.
Yes, that's awesome. Have you heard about the new system that's actually 10 times better than Zoom, where you don't have to do any follow-up and you can actually grow your business by like 10 times very, very quickly. Have you heard about the new system for that?
No.
No. Well, there's a new system. Actually, the owner of the company is doing a presentation this Thursday. He was actually a partner with Zoom. He actually was one of the guys that worked with Zoom and helped grow Zoom. He's actually doing a meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. It's not open to the public. It's by invitation only. If you'd like to come, I can invite you to come check it out. Would you be open
Yeah.
to that?
Right on. Yeah. That's what I need to
That's it.
just do that.
It's really that simple.
Yeah.
You don't
No,
need
I
to go
know.
into all the details. I talked about
I know,
two
but
things.
my brain is focused on my other business, not this business, and so I
Exactly.
want to be. I'm trying to learn how to split my brain to
Yes,
do
yes.
both.
Well, they're both the same thing. You're just inviting with the
Almost.
different benefits. Different
Yeah.
benefits.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
What I mean by that is what you're doing is you're still inviting them to an event.
Correct. I
The product,
understand.
the benefits and products you talk about are different. So you might talk about
Right.
nutrition or whatever, and here you're going to talk about not following up and being able to make 10 times more sales.
Right.
But the way you get them there is the same. You invite them to the meeting.
Yep.
So that
Yep, yep.
doesn't change.
That's
And
right.
yeah, same thing with me. When I go networking, I'll go to a networking event and I'm inviting people to a one-on-one hour Saturday session to coach with me. But then
Yep.
midstream, I notice that these people don't need my coaching. So then I invite them to a meeting about pitch.
Yep.
Same thing. Nothing changes. Just the
Yeah.
words that come out of my mouth change.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like when I'm doing some of these other events. Yeah, when I figure out that the health and wellness isn't their jam, but I know that they could use this. I mean, that's when but I just have to learn how to switch it in my
Yeah.
brain,
Well, here's the good
and
news,
be
John.
smoother.
The good news is you got my phone number. You call me anytime,
Right
and
on.
I will help you through this. That's what my intent is to do.
Yeah,
So
right
you're
on.
with me, man. You call me up. I'll walk you through. We'll role play a little bit and get you going. Easy.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yep. No problem, you guys. Well, I appreciate you so much for being here, you guys. Thank you so much. If there's nothing else anybody would like to say, then I'll let you go have the rest of your weekend. Anybody? Nope. All right.
Thanks,
Have a great
Steven.
weekend.
Appreciate it.
Hey, can you hear me
Welcome.
now?
All right. I'm sorry, Keith.
You're doing something at 5 today, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right about that.
No, I was just-
5 p.m. Yep. 5 p.m. You're welcome to invite guests to it.
Yeah,
Keith,
5
just call me
Eastern.
directly on my
Link,
cell
the same
phone.
link?
Same link. Everything. It's always the same link. Yes.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you guys later.